Some lost media cases take hours to find, some take days, some take months, and some even take years. But what about lost media that is inaccessible to everyone, and even the people who created that media in the first place don't have access to it? What now? Today we'll be looking into 5 lost media pieces that will never be found. The Television Ghost was a very early television program broadcasted on W2XAB in the early 1930s. It is considered to be one of the first dramatic television anthology ever made. The show centered on the idea of ghosts telling the stories of how they were murdered. Due to the technical limitations of the time, the format was closer to that of a radio show, as the video footage only consisted of a continuous shot of the actor's head and shoulders as he talked. Each broadcast lasted 15 minutes. The series ran for 2 years until it finalized in 1933, which was at the same time the W2XAB station suspended operations due to economic turmoil from the Great Depression. Given the early nature of television technology, the series had to be broadcasted live and was not able to be recorded by the network. In addition, the few people who even owned a television receiver at the time found that the screen was so dim it was barely visible to the naked eye, let alone a film recording. Because of this, the series is considered to be lost for good with no chance of it ever resurfacing. Greed is regarded by many one of the greatest films ever made, despite the fact that it was a failure commercially and critically, and that more than half of the movie was cut before its mass public release. The original cut was reportedly around 8 hours long and ran between 42 and 47 film reels, but was cut down to about 4 hours by von Stroheim himself, which was partly against his will. After which time he insisted that he could not cut another single frame of footage from the film. The film was then given to von Stroheim's colleagues, film director Rex Ingram and editor Grant Wytock, who cut it down to an even shorter 140 minutes. Before Rex sent it back to von Stroheim, he stated, "If you cut one more frame, I shall never speak to you again." The 140-minute cut was screened to the public and became the definitive cut of the film, although in 1999 a 4-hour cut version was released, with the aim of being closer to the director's original vision, although since by that time, the additional scenes had been lost and still photographs were used in their place. Only 12 people have seen the original cut, specifically at a special screening in January 1924. Von Stroheim himself had confirmed that Benito Mussolini was once in possession of a copy of the original cut, but the fate of this copy, as well as the other rumored copies, is entirely unknown, and none of the lost scenes have been publicly discovered to this day. Humorisk is a 1921 silent short film by the Marx Brothers. The film is known for being the first on-screen appearance for the legendary comedy group whose talkie films were greatly received following the breakthrough of their 1929 hit, The Coconuts. This film marked the transition of the brothers from successful performers to early stars of American film. Little is known about this film besides some details of production and brief plot details. In short, the film is looked to parody the highly popular film of 1920, Humorisk. There was also confusion as to exactly what role each brother plays. It has been long thought that Groucho Marx destroyed the only copy of the film, as he claimed to, which would render the film permanently lost. However, this claim has not been confirmed yet. The first showing of the 1991 Sega Mega Drive game Sonic the Hedgehog was at the Tokyo Toy Show in June 1990, which also happened to be the first time the game could be played by the public. In an interview with Yuji Naka, it was revealed that the original Sonic team put together a small playable technical demo for the show featuring Sonic in an early version of the Green Hill Zone. Though development had just begun, the build was actually more technically advanced than the final version of the game. It included 7 layers of parallax scrolling, with trees and rocks in the foreground being independent from the clouds and other objects in the background, and they were all separate from the scrolling of Sonic the Hedgehog as he ran through the hill terrain. Being the earliest representation of the Green Hill Zone, it is also reflective of what was found in early materials used both internally and in promotion articles. One of the most noticeable differences between this version and the final are the strange blue structures in the background, though it is unknown if they are meant to represent a city or are simply just a natural yet surreal rock formation. Though foreground items were not found in the final, the rocks would be modified and used in release layouts of the game, then transformed into downsized colored purple obstacles in the final release. In the same Game Radar interview with Yuji Naka, he reveals that the prototype was planned to be included in Sonic Mega Collection, which was a compilation of all Sonic the Hedgehog games for the Sega Mega Drive, released for the Nintendo GameCube in 2002. But it was unfortunately never put in due to Sega apparently losing the ROM. London After Midnight is a 1927 silent horror mystery film written by Todd Browning and starred Lon Chaney. The film is an alteration of The Hypnotist written by Todd Browning as well. It is also one of the last major films to star Lon Chaney before his death on August 26, 1930. The plot involves a man named Sir Roger Belfort who is the head of a luxurious mansion and is found dead alongside a suicide note. Professor Edward Burke is placed in charge of investigating the incident. The mansion is now occupied by an old man who goes by the name of Roger Belfort and a ghostly woman who is renting the mansion from Hamlin. With the use of hypnosis and a fake setup of vampires, Burke tricks Hamlin into revealing that he was the one who murdered Sir Roger Belfort 5 years before. London After Midnight was shown at the Capitol in New York City on December 11th and ran for approximately 65 minutes. People ended up criticizing the actors for being mostly uninteresting and also predicted that the film would sell solely on Lon Chaney's name. Despite these critiques, the film was met with moderate success. Modern critiques praised Chaney's makeup work as a creepy old man. The only known copy of London After Midnight is believed to have been destroyed in a large fire that supposedly occurred in the MGM studio in 1965 in Vault 7. Information is somewhat difficult to find on the event and is still debated about amongst classic film fans to this day. What seems to be commonly accepted is that the fire was caused by a combination of an electric spark and the nitrate film base used in the older film. Nitrate film base decomposes into a gas that is just as flammable, making it a likely cause for an extreme fire. Several other films may have been lost due to the same fire, such as A Blind Bargain and The Divine Woman. It is noted that MGM began making more of an effort to preserve its films around that period, potentially confirming that a fire may have occurred around that time. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for the video. I really appreciate the support I've been getting recently on the channel. You guys have been killing it. And if you guys would like to see more Last Media content, consider liking and subscribing. And yeah, thanks for watching and goodbye.